The resort air was warm and rich with the smell of ocean breeze and sunscreen. Palm trees swayed above the manicured paths as vacationers lounged near the infinity pool. The peace shattered when a golf cart screeched to a halt near the cabanas. Two uniformed officers jumped out, hands hovering near their holsters, eyes locked on a man in a navy tracksuit and bucket hat. "Snoop Dogg?" one officer barked, his voice tense. Snoop turned slowly from the bar, sipping a coconut water, sunglasses low on his nose. "What's this all about, nephew?" "Hands where we can see them," the other cop shouted, already moving in. People began pulling out phones, a few gasps. A woman in a pink bikini whispered, "Is this real? Are they arresting Snoop?" Snoop raised his hands calmly. "You must got me twisted, partner." Before he could finish, the first officer grabbed his wrist and pulled out handcuffs. "You match the description of a suspect involved in a theft nearby. We have orders." "A theft?" Snoop repeated, brows furrowed. "Y'all serious right now?" A security guard from the resort jogged over, winded. "Officers! Officers, please, this is a mistake." "Step back," one cop said, pointing at him. "We're handling this." The handcuffs clicked shut around Snoop's wrists. His expression didn't change, but something in his posture shifted, tension under the calm. People were filming. One guest muttered, "Damn, they really cuffed Snoop." "Check the security footage," the resort guard insisted. "Guy's been here all morning. He's performing tonight." The taller cop glanced at his partner. "Back up en route?" "Already called," the other said. Snoop shook his head slowly. "Y'all don't even know who you're dealing with. This gon' blow up big." The manager of the resort, a wiry man with slicked back hair and a linen shirt, came running across the lawn, phone to his ear. "I'm on with legal right now," he said, voice sharp. "This is a VIP guest. You're detaining him unlawfully." The taller cop blinked. "We have a description." "Of a 6'4" black man in a blue tracksuit," the manager snapped. "That's half the rappers in America. You didn't verify his identity?" Snoop stood quietly, breathing slow. "You ever think to ask me for ID before slapping cold steel on my wrists?" The shorter cop hesitated, glancing at the phones recording from every angle. That was when someone shoved through the crowd. A boy, maybe 12, clutching a piece of paper. "Mr. Snoop," he cried, "can I still get your autograph?" The crowd laughed nervously. Snoop smiled for the first time. "You see that?" he said to the officers. "You're out here throwing cuffs on Santa Claus in July." The taller officer suddenly paled, tapping on his shoulder mic. "Dispatch, confirm suspect ID again? We may have a situation." And then, the mood changed. Resort staff surrounded the officers, the manager yelling into the phone. Two guests started chanting, "Free Snoop! Free Snoop!" Snoop looked up at the sky and chuckled, low and bitter. "Y'all about to learn today." Because what the cops didn't know, what they should have known, is that cameras were everywhere, and the truth was about to break out of their control. If you're already hooked, don't forget to subscribe and drop your thoughts in the comments, because things are just getting started. 20 minutes later, in a staff-only lounge behind the resort's main lobby, 4 people huddled around a widescreen monitor. A security supervisor fast-forwarded through video footage from earlier that morning. Timestamps flickered as cameras showed Snoop Dogg arriving with his entourage, laughing, fist-bumping the concierge, snapping selfies with fans. "There," the manager said, pointing. "That's at 9:12 a.m. He's been on property since then." The officer who'd cuffed him frowned at the screen, arms crossed. "He couldn't have committed a theft down the road at 9:30, the security supervisor muttered. "It's physically impossible. Look, he's in the spa 15 minutes later." Outside the lounge, guests still crowded near the main pool, buzzing with speculation. Snoop sat on a cushioned patio chair, hands now free, sipping a second coconut water. His assistant, Drea, stood nearby with her arms crossed, radiating fury. "They didn't even ask for ID," she said. "Didn't ask his name, didn't check records, just rolled up and slapped cuffs on him?" "Straight profiling," said another team member. "That's what it is." Snoop didn't speak. He just stared at the horizon, calm but unreadable. Inside, the manager turned toward the officers. "So, what's the explanation here?" The shorter cop shifted uncomfortably. "We received a tip from a local shop. said a man matching the description had stolen merchandise. Witness said he ran toward the beach. The taller cop nodded. Description said black male, 6'4", blue tracksuit, tattoos. That narrows it down fast. The manager's eyes narrowed. And instead of confirming with the resort or asking for ID, you jumped to arrest a global celebrity? The taller cop stayed quiet. Protocol was not followed, the security chief added. We always coordinate with local authorities before any guest contact. You skipped that step. Dreyer entered the room then, voice cutting like ice. And now every single person with a phone has a video of cops arresting a music legend without cause. She walked over to the monitor, tapped it with her nail. See that? That's liability. That's a lawsuit waiting to happen. Ma'am, one officer began. No, Dreyer snapped. Save it. Back outside, the resort's PR director paced by the pool, phone pressed tight to her ear. Yes, it's already trending. The videos are up on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. We need a statement now. A man in a baseball cap approached Snoop slowly. Yo, I'm sorry, man. I saw it all. Wasn't right. Snoop gave him a nod. Appreciate that, nephew. Another woman added, if they can do that to you, imagine what happens to the rest of us. That got Snoop's attention. He looked up, eyes heavy. Exactly. Back in the lounge, the security feed paused. The officers stared at the screen in silence. Then their radios crackled. Suspect in theft has been apprehended, dispatch announced. Male, 5'10", white, green hoodie. Confessed at scene. Disregard, prior description. Everyone froze. The manager turned slowly to face the cops. He wasn't even the right race. The officers' faces turned ghost white. I think we're done here, Dreyer said. Snoop rose slowly from his seat, rolling his neck. Y'all know you just made me a trending topic before lunch, right? And he wasn't wrong. The world was already watching. By the next morning, it was everywhere. Hashtags like Free Snoop, Wrongfully Detained, and You Arrested Snoop flooded every platform. Late-night talk shows joked about it. Civil rights groups weren't laughing. Inside a conference room at the resort, Snoop sat across from the police chief, 2 city attorneys, and the hotel's legal team. He was dressed in a white tee, chains tucked, sunglasses off. The police chief, a graying man with kind eyes and a deep furrow in his brow, folded his hands. Mr. Broadus, I want to personally apologize on behalf of the department. This never should have happened. Snoop stared at him, unreadable. You think I never heard that before? Silence. The younger city attorney cleared his throat. The officers involved are being reviewed internally. There's already suspension paperwork in motion. Snoop shook his head. They're still out there, though, probably cuffing another brother while we talk. No, the police chief said firmly. They've been pulled from the field until further notice. We're not sweeping this under the rug. Dreyer, seated beside Snoop, leaned forward. What about public accountability? Do you all realize this man got humiliated on camera? You know how rare it is to catch racism in 4K? We're drafting a public statement, the city attorney replied, and the mayor's office is reaching out. This is bigger than just an apology. Outside the room, a crowd of reporters camped near the resort gates. Microphones, flashing bulbs, security guards trying to maintain order. Inside, Snoop leaned back. Let me tell you something, he said. I'm used to being underestimated, but not like that. Not at a place where I was booked to perform. Y'all didn't just embarrass me. You made a lot of people feel like this world still don't see them. The police chief lowered his gaze. And this ain't about me, Snoop continued. It's about the kid who don't have 30 million followers. The guy walking down the block who can't call a lawyer in 5 seconds. If this can happen to me, they're all wide open. Dreyer nodded beside him. So what are you going to do about it? That's when the PR director from the resort stepped in. We've agreed to host a town hall here tonight. Snoop will speak, so will local leaders, press, community reps. No scripts. Just real talk. Snoop looked at her. Ain't about just talking. It's about listening too. She nodded. Later that evening, the sun set in golden waves across the beach. A temporary stage was set up on the resort lawn. Hundreds gathered, locals, vacationers, cameras rolling. Security kept distance. Snoop stepped onto the stage. No entourage, no performance, just a mic in his hand. He paused before speaking, looking over the crowd. "I got cuffed yesterday for matching a description," he began. "But I'm not here to rant. I'm here 'cause it ain't just about me." The crowd fell silent. "It's about how we move forward, how we hold each other accountable, how we stop making the same damn mistakes." Drea stood at the side of the stage, arms crossed, watching the reactions ripple across the lawn. Snoop continued, "I'm still going to do the show tomorrow night, but this right here, this is the real headline." People clapped, some teary-eyed, some filming. He stepped off stage quietly, and behind the scenes, something was shifting. Back in his private suite, Snoop moved like a man who'd seen it all and still carried the weight. The windows stretched floor to ceiling, offering a perfect view of the Pacific. But he wasn't looking out. He was on the phone, pacing. "Nah, Unc," he said, "it ain't about suing, not yet. This was bigger than the badge, bigger than the zip code. This was about a system that stays broken." A pause. "I'm good, tired but good." He ended the call and sank onto the couch, his shoulders slumped for the first time all day. Drea entered, holding a laptop. "Clips from the town hall are everywhere. CNN's running it, MSNBC too. You got pastors quoting you like scripture." He smirked just a little. "Might drop a gospel album." Drea sat beside him, her tone softer now. "You did good tonight." "A lot of folks needed to hear what you said," he nodded. "Still mad though, still hurt." "I know." They sat in silence, the hum of the ocean barely audible through the glass. Then a knock. One of the resort staff, a young black bellhop named Isaiah, stood at the door, visibly nervous. "Sorry to interrupt, Mr. Dogg. Snoop, I was at the town hall, just wanted to say thanks." Before speaking up, Snoop stood, walked over, and offered a fist bump. "You already know, nephew." Isaiah grinned. "When I saw what happened yesterday, I felt sick, like, if that could happen to you, what's stopping it from happening to me?" Snoop looked him in the eyes. "Only thing stopping it is us changing the game, one voice at a time." Isaiah left, a little taller. Snoop turned to Drea. "I gotta do this show tomorrow, not for the resort, not for PR, for folks like him." She nodded. "Then let's make it unforgettable." The next morning, the crew prepped the stage. The beach shimmered under blue skies. Guests flowed in early. More than just fans came. Community organizers, journalists, local students. Everyone wanted to be there. Backstage, Snoop looked in the mirror. Tracksuit crisp, chains subtle, mic ready. But it wasn't about the fit this time. Drea handed him a folded sheet of paper. "Opening remarks, optional." He opened it, scanned the first line, then folded it back up. "Nah, I'll speak from the heart." At sundown, the crowd was packed. People filled every chair, blanket, and patch of sand. Phones were out. Not for drama this time, for reverence. The MC introduced him. "Ladies and gentlemen, the Dogg father himself and Snoop Dogg." He stepped onto the stage as the sky blazed orange. No dancers, no fog machines, just him and the mic. The beat dropped. Not hard, not fast, just slow and soulful. He opened with "Drop It Like It's Hot," but slowed down, spoken word style. Then transitioned to a freestyle about justice, identity, and strength. The crowd wasn't just vibing, they were listening. When he paused mid-song, someone in the back yelled, "We love you, Snoop." He smiled. "Love y'all back. Now let's heal together." That night, music felt like medicine. The morning after the show, the world had changed, at least for a moment. Clips of Snoop's beachside performance were everywhere. Not just the music, but his message. TikTok stitched together audience tears. Instagram feeds reposted his words over soft piano. The hashtags had shifted from outrage to inspiration. Snoop speaks, healing on the beach, music for justice. CNN called it one of the most unexpectedly powerful cultural moments of the year. But Snoop wasn't watching the news. He was walking the grounds, hoodie up, taking in the resort for the first time like a guest, not a headline. At the juice bar, a family from Houston stopped him. The dad leaned in. "My son saw what happened. He's 12. Asked me if it was 'cause he looked like you. I didn't know what to tell him until last night." Snoop put a hand on the kid's shoulder. You tell him to be proud of how he looks. Proud of who he is, and when people treat him wrong, he speaks up, just like I did. The kid beamed. Later that afternoon, the police chief returned, alone this time, no press, no lawyers. He met Snoop near the back deck, holding a small envelope. This is an official written apology from the department. Not the city, not the lawyers, just from me. Because I was sick when I watched that footage. Snoop accepted it quietly. Don't know if it means anything, the chief added. It does, Snoop said, but don't stop there. The chief nodded. We're reviewing our training protocols, working with community leaders. This woke us up. Dreyer joined them a moment later. Just got word. You've been invited to speak at 2 universities. Not to perform, to speak. They want your voice, not just your music. Snoop laughed. Took me getting handcuffed for folks to hear what I've been saying for 20 years. That night, the resort threw a quiet, private dinner in Snoop's honor. No cameras, no hashtags, just people breaking bread. Isaiah, the young bellhop, was invited too. He sat beside Snoop, listening like a student at a master class. By the end of the evening, as the moon lit the ocean, Snoop stood and raised a glass. I came here to perform, he said, but the real show was what we all did after the lights came up. Y'all turned a mistake into a movement. Cheers and nods followed. He smiled, added one last thing. And if this story meant something to you, if it opened your eyes or your heart, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, drop a comment, and click on the next video right here on screen. 'Cause we got more stories that matter. The screen faded to black, but the conversation had only just begun.